Every day, your attention is under attack. Most people assume distraction is simply a bad habit. But it is more serious than that. Distraction shapes your character. What you repeatedly give your attention to becomes the material of your thoughts, your emotions, your decisions, and eventually your life. The Stoics understood this long before smartphones existed. Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, and Seneca lived in a world without social media, but they still faced noise, gossip, political pressure, public opinion, ambition, fear, and constant demands from other people. Their answer was not to escape the world. It was to train the mind to remain steady inside it. Stoic focus is not about becoming cold, isolated, or obsessed with productivity. It is about protecting your inner life from being controlled by whatever happens to be loudest. The first Stoic principle is simple: recognize what belongs to you. Epictetus taught that some things are within our control and others are not. Your attention belongs in the first category. You cannot control every notification, opinion, interruption, or crisis. But you can influence where your mind returns. When a headline provokes you, pause and ask, is this something I need to act on, or is it only trying to trigger a reaction? When you feel the urge to check your phone, ask, did I choose this action, or was I pulled into it? Stoic focus begins when you stop treating every impulse as a command. You may feel the urge to scroll, but you do not have to obey it. You may feel anxious about missing out, but anxiety does not decide your next move. You may feel bored during difficult work, but boredom is not a reason to abandon the task. The mind becomes stronger when it learns that feelings can be noticed without being followed. The second principle is to understand the true cost of distraction. Distraction does not only take time. It fragments your identity. Every time you switch from one task to another, part of your mind remains behind. You read a message while working, then return to the task, but the message continues in the background. You check the news, then try to focus, but the emotional residue stays with you. You open one video, then another, and 30 minutes later your mind feels crowded but empty. Seneca often warned against wasting life without realizing it. People guard their money carefully, yet allow others to consume their time. Today, we should add another resource to that warning: attention. Time is the length of your life. Attention is the quality of it. You can spend an hour with your family while thinking about work. You can read 10 pages while checking your phone every 2 minutes. You can sit in silence while mentally arguing with someone who is not even there. Physically, you are present. Mentally, you are absent. A focused life is not necessarily a busy life. It is a life in which your mind and your actions are in the same place. The third Stoic lesson is to choose your impressions. The Stoics used the word impressions for the thoughts, feelings, and interpretations that appear in the mind. An impression might say, "This is terrible, I need to respond immediately," or "I cannot tolerate this discomfort." The mistake is not that these impressions appear. The mistake is accepting them without examination. In a distracted world, speed is dangerous. Platforms encourage you to react before you reflect. Anger spreads faster than understanding. Fear travels faster than context. Outrage feels urgent, even when it has nothing to do with your responsibilities. A Stoic creates space between impression and judgment. Before sharing, replying, worrying, or reacting, wait. Ask what you actually know. Ask whether your response is useful. Ask whether the issue deserves a place in your mind. Not everything that enters your awareness deserves your attention. Not everything that deserves attention deserves action. And not everything that deserves action must be handled immediately. This pause is one of the greatest forms of modern power. The fourth principle is to design your environment instead of relying on willpower. Stoicism is often misunderstood as pure mental toughness. But the Stoics were practical. They trained through habits, reflection, preparation, and deliberate choices. They did not assume that good intentions were enough. If your phone is beside you, glowing and vibrating, it will be harder to concentrate. If every app can interrupt you, your focus will remain fragile. If you begin the morning with news and social media, your first thoughts will be chosen by strangers. Protecting attention requires boundaries. Turn off non-essential notifications. Keep your phone out of reach during important work. Decide when you will check messages instead of checking whenever you feel uncertainty. Create periods of the day in which you consume nothing and produce something. You do not need to disappear from modern life. You need to stop giving every part of modern life equal access to your mind. A locked door is not a rejection of the world. Sometimes it is the condition required to do meaningful work for the world. The fifth Stoic practice is voluntary discomfort. Why do we get distracted so easily? Often because focused work is uncomfortable. It can feel slow, difficult, uncertain, or boring. Distraction offers immediate relief. The Stoics deliberately practiced discomfort to become less controlled by it. They ate simple meals, tolerated cold, walked instead of riding, or temporarily gave up luxury. The goal was not punishment. The goal was freedom. You can apply the same idea to attention. Sit for 10 minutes without stimulation. Walk without headphones. Read a difficult page without switching tabs. Continue working when the first wave of boredom appears. Let the urge to check your phone rise and fall without obeying it. Each time you remain with discomfort, you strengthen your ability to choose. Focus is not created by eliminating every unpleasant feeling. It is created by learning that unpleasant feelings are survivable. The sixth principle is to live according to purpose. Attention is difficult to protect when you do not know what it is for. If your goals are vague, every distraction seems reasonable. But when you know what matters, saying no becomes easier. Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself to return to the work of a human being, to act with justice, courage, wisdom, and self-control. He did not ask whether every task was exciting. He asked whether it was aligned with duty. The clearer your values, the easier it becomes to judge what deserves your attention. Ask yourself each morning, what deserves my best energy today? Then ask again at night, did my attention follow my values, or did it follow my impulses? This review turns focus into a moral practice. The seventh lesson is to accept that you will fail and return. No one remains perfectly focused. Even a disciplined mind wanders. The Stoic response is not self-hatred. It is correction. Marcus Aurelius wrote reminders to himself because he needed them repeatedly. He lost patience, became distracted, and had to return to his principles. The value of Stoicism is not that it makes you flawless. It gives you a way back. When you realize you have been scrolling for 20 minutes, stop. Do not waste another 20 minutes condemning yourself. When your morning disappears into email, reset at noon. When a week feels scattered, begin again today. The ability to return is more important than the fantasy of never drifting. A distracted world benefits when you believe your attention is weak and uncontrollable. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Your attention can be trained. Your mind can become less reactive. Your days can become more deliberate. But this training happens in small moments. These moments may seem ordinary, but they shape a life. Your attention is not just a tool for getting more done. It is the doorway through which the world enters your mind. Guard it carelessly, and anyone can influence your mood, your desires, and your direction. Guard it wisely, and you become harder to manipulate. The Stoic does not ask, how can I control everything around me? The Stoic asks, how can I meet this moment with clarity and choice? That is the heart of focus. You do not need a quieter world before you can have a quieter mind. You do not need every distraction to disappear before you can act with discipline. You do not need to wait for motivation. Begin with one decision. Choose 1 hour today and protect it. Turn off the noise. Put away the phone. Decide what matters. Stay with it when discomfort appears. And when your mind wanders, bring it back without anger. Do this again tomorrow. A focused life is not built through one heroic act. It is built through thousands of small returns. In a world competing for your attention, the most radical act may be to decide that your mind is not for sale.